Hello, this is our rundown of the 10 words of 2022. We encounter neologisms, compounds, sausages, goblins, and much more. All of the major dictionaries' words of the year are included, along with our selection of this year's new entries. It's Word of the Year 2022. Let's set sail.
10. Damn fino. This abbreviation of the words damned if I know entered the Oxford English Dictionary in September. It's a beautiful example of elision, which is when you leave out sounds. Damn fino means not only I don't know, but also I don't care. A perfect expression of post-pandemic apathy. It's actually been around a long time. In Buster Keaton's silent 1921 film, The Boat, our hero fights the complexities of modern life and nearly drowns his family in the process. The boat's name? Damn fino. No, I do know the boat's name is Damn fino.
9. Protests, strikes, governmental collapse, war, pandemic, climate catastrophes. It seems like there is just no end to the number or type of crises facing humanity right now. So enter the word permacrisis. Collins Dictionary's Word of the Year, essentially a combination of permanent and crisis. But don't tell my nephew Calvin, who thought it referred to that terrible period during lockdown when he couldn't get his beard permed. If only life were so straightforward, Calvin. We're heading to London for 2 words in joint 7th place, Mandem and Galdem. 2 words that have been around since the noughties in urban London speech and entered the Oxford English Dictionary in September this year. Mandem is a male group of friends. Galdem is a female group of friends. The origins of the words go back to the early 20th century and Jamaican English. It's a way of pluralizing the words man and girl. Man plus them, mandem. Girl plus them, galdem. Their spellings with D reflect their pronunciations, mandem and galdem. But in London, the L in galdem is pronounced oo, gaudem. An essential tip if you're an aspiring rapper. At number 6...
Don't say that.
What do you mean?
Gaslighting. Merriam Webster's Word of the Year has sort of been around for a long time. It describes deviously subtle types of abuse that lead the victim to question their sanity, tying in with other modern psychological concepts of manipulation, such as post-truth, and it was the most searched word this year on Merriam Webster's site. In the original 1938 play Gaslight by Patrick Hamilton, a woman is encouraged to believe she's going mad, whilst her husband tries to steal from her. The dimming gaslights in the house become a symbol of the deception. 2 film versions were released, a British one in 1940 and an American remake in 1944. Who would have predicted that the title, in gerund form, would connect so profoundly 8 decades later? Talking of things that nobody would predict, Cambridge Dictionary's Word of the Year, and 5 on our list, is Homer. Yep, that's right, Homer. Or perhaps more precisely, Homer, because it's an American word. We are not talking here about the intrepid Greek poet Homer. And we are not talking about the lazy donut-chomping family man, Homer Simpson. No, we are talking about an abbreviation of home run in baseball. So how did it end up as Cambridge Dictionary's Word of the Year? The answer is simple. The Wordle effect. Homer was the answer on the popular New York Times 5-letter word game one day, and people in Britain got it wrong because they'd never heard of it, leading to over 65,000 people looking it up in a single day. Other words that have seen spikes in searches because of Wordle are cork, tacit, and bayou. And if you don't know what they are, well, you'll just have to look them up. So although the word Homer doesn't have much to say about contemporary life, its inclusion does say something about the popularity of word puzzles. At 4 is NB, which entered the OED in June this year. It's a phonetic spelling of the initials NB, which stand for non-binary. NB is specifically about non-binary gender. Its use has increased over the last 10 years as both a noun, I'm an NB, and an adjective, very NB. Given the word is based on pronunciation, there are a couple of interesting things to note. The n assimilates to so when you say it quickly, you're actually more likely to say MB. Also, the stress in the abbreviation NB is normally on the second syllable, the B, NB, whereas in the word NB, it's on the first syllable, all of which adds to the sense that the word itself is very, fluid. It's fair to say that British English has an interesting relationship with the word sausage. Silly sausage is an affectionate way to address a child, whilst not a sausage describes a lack of communication with somebody, and this brings us to number 3 in our list. Soysage, a vegan or vegetarian product made from soy protein rather than meat. Strictly speaking, this entered the OED all the way back in 1943, when meat substitutes were used during World War II, but the entry was updated in 2022 with the growing trend for plant-based alternatives. It still remains to be seen whether we will start calling our children silly sausages, as children are not, by any stretch of the imagination, plant-based. I need a piece of paper for this one. On September the 8th, 2022, the following 3 things happen. Queen Elizabeth II dies. Commiserations. Thank you. Charles III becomes king. Congratulations. Thanks. New Elizabethan era ends, having spanned from 1952 to 2022. All of this is correct. So the new era is called Caroline, like Charles I? Carolean, like Charles II? Or maybe Windsor, in the same way as we refer to the Tudor era by the surname. Which one is it going to be, Charles? I don't get to choose these things, you see. Okay, could you write down the one you think it will be for us? We won't tell anyone. Okay, but where's my pin? Oh dear. We'll go for Carolean, I think. That's number 2 in our Words of the Year. Great. At number 1 on this year's chart, Oxford Dictionary's Word of the Year, Goblin Mode. It's technically a neologism, meaning new expression. It's the first time that the OED has opened their Word of the Year up to a public vote, and Goblin Mode was the clear winner with over 90% of the votes, soundly beating Metaverse and #IStandWith in the final. It's also a compound, and like most, the stress is on the first word, goblin. The term isn't technically new, having been creeping around quietly for about 10 years on Twitter, but it certainly exploded in 2022. Actor Julia Fox was incorrectly reported as having said, "He didn't like it when I went goblin mode," about her relationship with rapper Ye. And in April, Elon Musk tweeted and then deleted a meme of Breaking Bad lawyer Saul Goodman with the words, "In all fairness, Your Honour, my client was in goblin mode," apparently relating to his rejection of a place on Twitter's board. Both instances brought the term plenty of online exposure, and the phrase clearly connected with people. So what exactly is Goblin Mode? It seems to have 2 themes attached to it. Firstly, a general rejection of the perfect lives depicted on social media platforms, TikTok and Instagram. Goblin Mode is not vivid or idyllic, and those in Goblin Mode are highly unlikely to start dancing or cooking in front of a smartphone. Secondly, it refers to a state of mind that seems to have engulfed people after 2 years of lockdowns and disruptions. In Goblin Mode, you stay at home, have a generally relaxed approach to both personal hygiene and timekeeping, and occasionally let out strange little noises. When you start shrinking and growing pointy ears, you know it might be time to head back out into the real world. Thanks for watching.